Welcome to the Canadian Business Quarterly podcast, where we speak with Canada's most influential industry leaders on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all of our content, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Kate Andrews, Digital Brand and Growth Manager of AutoOne. AutoOne knows that the relationship you have with your car is like a journey, and they are thrilled to be along for the ride with you. Their digital leasing process and friendly team of passionate car people offer an easy, customizable, and smarter vehicle ownership experience. AutoOne is here for the love of driving. Kate, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So give us the background of AutoOne and where it's come from.
Of course. So AutoOne was formed in 2012, we say by bringing together 5 companies that needed saving. In this, we acquired 50 employees as well as a lease portfolio of approximately 2,000 leases. This was split between retail and commercial leasing. Our retail business focused primarily on luxury cars with a small selection of everyday brands as well. And our commercial business, it was a mix of fleet vehicles such as cargo vans, as well as pickup trucks and daily drivers for smaller business operators. All of this was started by, and it continues to be led by today, Kevin Andrews. He's a passionate car guy who actually came from the banking world and was able to combine his business expertise with his passion and create AutoOne.
Right. So out of this, initial merger, how did AutoOne operate when it first started?
Initially, we operated very traditionally, just like any other leasing company and like the 5 companies that we had acquired. We had many sales reps, and these reps would work with other dealers and other companies to bring in leases. With this method, it was very paper heavy. We worked primarily with commercial leases. So that's working with a lot of businesses where our reps had to manually verify all the company information. They had to analyze financial statements and then do everything themselves. It was a bit of a time-intensive process, but we were able to keep working that way with the 2,000 leases that we had acquired.
And at some point, I think when we spoke previously, you begin to alter your operational approach. Do you want to take us through that a little bit and the key factors that influence that?
Exactly. So, being so human and paper reliant, when we first started, we found that the business started to stagnate a little bit. So we decided to take a new approach and really introduce some digital capabilities. The world was starting to change, and we decided to as well. So we really wanted to create some efficient scaling for our business, add to our lease portfolio. We wanted to better combat fraud because that was a big issue that we saw working with so many businesses and doing the manual analysis ourselves. We also wanted to, begin to better meet and predict consumer needs in sort of the changing economic landscape, as well as differentiate ourselves as so many other leasing companies and new ways to buy and lease cars were popping up.
So what actions or strategies are then employed to facilitate this style of change?
Yeah. So, first things first, we actually decided to focus a little bit more on a retail business model and increase the amount of inventory that we carried. With this increase in inventory, of course, we wanted to be able to showcase it to our customers and to people that we were hoping to, put into these vehicles. So we decided to create a custom website. So the website is incredibly interactive and user-friendly. It has items like our extensive search filters, our digital payment wheel where you can preview your own lease options, and instant qualification forms. And that was sort of the beginning. Because we were focusing on retail business, we had a lot of new customers that we needed to verify and onboard. So we began to implement other digital capabilities like pre-qualification forms, soft credit pulls, and a digital customer management system so that we could help expedite this process and, keep all of these leases moving. So really overall, we began to just make a change to our leasing process. And we had consumers kind of begin to adapt to a new digital way. But actually, when we were doing all of this, and we were in the middle of all these digital changes, we got hit by COVID.
A lot of companies ended up having to pivot or adapt or change in some way. So what did AutoOne have to do to continue to operate during this period?
Well, we were really lucky that we had already begun creating a digital process once COVID had already hit, because really that was the only way to continue operating. So we continue to refine and push this process. Already ready for the digital demands of COVID. We had a digital identity verification, we had digital financial verification, as well as digital document sharing and signing. So initially, these new items weren't widely accepted, but when COVID hit, everything changed and they were almost demanded. So we were really lucky that we already had those implemented and ready to roll out. We also saw other systems that were commonly used by dealerships become more digitally advanced. So we now had better access to credit score information, vehicle valuations, residuals, and that made our lease building process a lot easier and a lot quicker.
Okay. And so what does that mean coming out? We're a couple of years removed from this. How did implementing these changes benefit AutoOne in the long run?
So we were able to take all of these sort of digital implementations and actually combine and create an online credit portal for all of our consumer and retail clients. So this really allows us to expedite our leasing process. We can approve customers within minutes. They can see what vehicle they're approved for, what rate they'll be getting, as well as choose how long they want to lease for. So it's a really great expedited process. So this allowed us to scale the business even more. We're now up to 3,000 active leases.
Wow.
And most excitingly, we were able to build a dealership or a dealer partnership model. So using these systems, we're able to allow other dealers to use these identity and financial verification systems on their own customers, build their own custom leases, and receive online decision-making in minutes, all through our own system. So we're currently the only leasing company offering this to other dealers, and we're really proud of it.
Okay. So, with the change, and it sounds, as you mentioned, you've got some exclusivity in this area then. So what does that do for the company in terms of where you're headed in the medium to longer term future?
So with all of these changes, we have been able to scale the business, and we've already seen a significant level of growth in the volume of leases, and we expect this to continue. So now we're really looking at how can we provide our customers with extra value, and how can we ensure that we're, assisting them in all the ways that we need, and also that we're assisting all of our customers, retail, commercial, those who lease from our own inventory, as well as those external dealers that we provide funding for. So we've actually decided to implement 2 new digital innovations to build on top of our current ones. And the first one that we're really excited about is a partnership with a company called Hey Auto to create a digital system where customers can access full information on their lease and their vehicle, as well as contact AutoOne at any given point. So through this, a consumer or a retail customer, for example, would be able to go in, select their lease and the vehicle that they have with us, and then see all of the information on their lease term, their monthly payment, when their next payment is due, what the residual value of their car will be. And if they wanted to buy out, they could, do that right in our system. They can contact us, they can request a buyout and have that number provided to them immediately, as well as contact AutoOne to actually put that into process. So we're excited to have that going, and really impressed with the team for putting it together. And we'll also be having a dealer side of that, where those external dealers that we fund other leases for will be able to use it and keep a tab on their consumers, have some basic insights with their leases through AutoOne, and most importantly, keep contact with their customers. The second innovation that we're adding is an AI-powered chatbot That actually just came out on our website a day ago. And it is a great way for consumers to be able to go on our website and get almost all of the information they need to make a decision on buying a car without having to wait for somebody to email them back, or without having to bounce around to different websites and do all of the research themselves. They can ask what their monthly payment on a specific vehicle may be. They can search our inventory. They can also ask what the approximate residual value on a car might be. So it's a really great way for them to find out all of the information that they need right on our website. So we're really excited about, these two new innovations and what they'll be able to do for our customers moving forward.
Okay. So before we finish up today, is there anything else that you'd like to add or otherwise haven't had a chance to address?
Nothing too specific, just that we're excited about the future. We just attended a FinTech conference and excited about, what other digital innovations we can add to make our consumers' lives even easier when it comes to getting their new car.
Excellent. Well, Kate, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been a production of the Canadian Business Quarterly, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Canadian Business Quarterly, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.